Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to another edition of Speak That Talks, the unfiltered, unscripted, and uncensored live conversation. Thank you all for tuning in. We are about to go live in 30 seconds. So grab your friends, grab your loved ones, and go to the Speak That Movement page on Facebook or YouTube. See you in 30 seconds. I swear that 30 seconds goes by fast every single week, but that's just how excited I am every week. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another edition of Speak That Talks. It is another beautiful Thursday in October, and I'm happy to welcome you all here. So, if you are not already on the Facebook or YouTube page for Speak That Movement, please, please, please go to Facebook or YouTube, Speak That Movement, and that's where you can interact. I can bring you into the conversation, and we can have a really nice, empowering, and inspiring time together. So for those of you who do not know, my name is Tiara M. Tucker. I am the founder and CEO of Tiara Public Relations Network, LLC, as well as Speak That Movement. Speak That Movement was created to empower, uplift, and connect people desiring to live their best lives, people who believe that words have power, people who believe that we can speak things into existence, no weapon formed against us shall prosper, and all those fabulous things. So Speak That Talks is really just the baby of Speak That Movement. I love to share that this is now the 24th week of Speak That Talks. So Speak That Talks really started on Thursday, May 7th, when I was just randomly wanting to go live to talk about all the things that were going on in the world, from social injustices to COVID to quarantine life, which was pretty hard at first for an extrovert like myself, but it proved to be beneficial 24 weeks later because it sat me down. But it also allowed Speak That Talks to be birthed. And this is just where every single week I bring in a new guest speaker, multiple speakers at times, and we talk. We talk about hot topics. We empower, we inspire, we connect, and we just really have a good time on a Thursday. So thank you all that have been tuning in for the last 24 weeks. And as long as you all keep listening and watching, there will be more. So again, the best way to support and check it out is to go to the Speak That Movement page if you want to virtually talk and connect. Also, let's socialize. Let us know where you are. Add your city, add your name in the comments, add your comments and your questions as well. So again, welcome, welcome, welcome. And it looks like we have some people out there. Welcome, Miss Michelle MacArthur, representing Dallas, Texas. Happy Thursday to you as well. Michelle was actually a guest a few weeks ago. So on that note, I'm so excited about this week's conversation. So I am going to just get right to it. So if you all tuned in last week, then you may have seen that I had 3 very special guest speakers, and we talked about this trending hot topic that's going around right now called the ComebackChampion Summit. So some of you may have seen it. Maybe you have friends that are involved in it. You may have seen it on someone's page. But the ComebackChampion Summit is a 5-day virtual summit that was created by Shay Brown. Over 100 speakers and experts have joined in just to share empowering messages to help all of us finish the year strong. So last week I had Mr. Shay Brown on himself, as well as 2 other guest speakers. So to keep this series going, I'm happy to say that I have 3 more of the ComebackChampion Summit speakers this week, and I'll have 2 more next week. So without further ado, I want to get right to it. I want to welcome this week's speakers. I'll bring them up one by one. So again, join us, add your comments, let's interact because it's going to be a really good show today. So I'm going to start with our first guest speaker of the day, Miss Dawn. Hello, Dawn.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
How are you feeling today?
I'm excited. I'm so excited to be here. I am just thrilled.
And I'm excited to have you. I'm excited that we both are part of the ComebackChampion Summit. I'm excited to share with everybody more about whatever you're going to be talking about at the summit or whatever you have already been talking about at the summit. So I love to always say how I met everybody. That's my formal way to introduce people. And just so you all know, Dawn and I officially just met today. We met 30 minutes ago. However, we have connected virtually and we have some things in common. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited to say that Dawn represents Waukegan, Illinois. Okay.
Yay.
Hello, all of my Illinois people. You know I represent Kankakee, Illinois, south of Chicago. So we have an Illinois sisterhood going right now, Dawn.
That's right.
That's right. But you're currently living in Mississippi, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
I'm on the Gulf Coast. I left the cold for the warm. Yes.
You did. So tell everybody, tell the Speak That Talks platform, who is Dawn?
I am a transformation life coach, a certified health and wellness coach, as well as an international speaker and a best-selling author. I am the CEO of Finally Free LLC, and I'm known as the change catalyst. I, empower people, not just women, people, to just do it scared and embrace change at any age.
I love that. Talk a little bit more about being a change. Well, did you say a change?
Change catalyst.
Change catalyst.
Yes, yes. So many people fear change. It's like one of the things that keeps us the most stuck in our lives, whether it's our personal life, our careers. We ignore what we fear, right? And we fear change. So for me, it's the most fulfilling thing to work with people, and just watch them transform. Once you can get past that fear of change, that's when the magic happens. All type of great things can happen if you can just push past the fear.
I love it. I love it. So we're going to definitely talk a little bit more about that later, but congratulations to you and all of your amazing accomplishments. And I'm really excited to talk more about this change world a little later. So thank you, Dawn, for joining, and we're going to have a great conversation.
We are. Thank you.
All right. All right, ladies. So there you have it, Miss Dawn, who'll be back up in a moment. So next up, I want to bring up the next guest speaker for today, Dr. Renee Denise Fowler. Hello, Miss Renee. I want to call you doctor. I have to.
How are you doing? Oh, this is so awesome. Thank you for having me tonight.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for joining. Thank you for being a guest speaker today. And thank you for representing as an expert, as Shay likes to call us, right? Experts.
Absolutely. Well, it's a blessing to be here tonight amongst the experts and such powerful women. And I'm just so grateful. But I consider myself to be a strategic Christian thought leader. I'm a certified John Maxwell coach, speaker, teacher, and trainer. I've actually been in the personal development space for over 30 years. I spent a lucrative career in corporate America before transitioning into ministry. But I've always had a love for the marketplace ministry. And so really what I'm focusing on now is what I'm really passionate about, which is just empowering people. And I believe that empowerment starts with transformational change in the mind. And so I'm excited. It's a challenge to deal with that with most people. But just like Don said, in order to make the change does not change unless you change.
Ooh, nice. So it sounds like change is going to be a hot topic for the day, huh?
It's required. If you're going to move forward, change is required.
Yes. So get ready, everybody. If you're ready to live your best life, not just any life, but your best life, you better listen in today because we're going to be talking about some change that's going to be needed. Well, my sister, and so we jokingly say that Don and I represent Illinois, but we have a connection because we both are representing Texas right now.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we know that everything is great in the country of Texas.
Right. That's right. So shout out to everybody out there that's representing Texas. Well, thank you, Doctor. I will pull you up in a moment. Now I will introduce the next guest. Thank you so much. Looking forward to our conversation.
Absolutely.
All right, you guys, we're down to one more introduction for the third guest of the day. So I am so excited to welcome the third guest, and we have something in common as well. So without further ado, everybody, help me with some virtual hearts, pumps, and all that for all of the guests. Dr. Wendy Labat.
Mm-hmm.
Did I say it right?
You said it right. Yay. Well, I want to thank you for having me on tonight. It's an awesome pleasure to be around you and the other ladies because we got it going on. So I'm looking forward to the conversation we're going to have. And I'm Dr. Wendy Labat, also known as the Financial Healer. I'm an entrepreneur of 36 plus years, and I started at age 4.
I was thinking age 2.
Okay, yeah, I think I was about 2. But all those years have given me the wisdom. I'm also a best-selling author of a new book, Diagnose Your Financial Health. It's the first of a series of books from the Financial Cures series. I'm also a speaker and a strategist. My company, the Financial Cures LLC, is about empowering people to diagnose their financial health, take control of their finances, build generational wealth, and acquire the proper protection. I'm a breast cancer conqueror. And because I was, had the proper protection, that's how I found the financial cure for breast cancer. So that's try to help folks get their finances in order.
Well, and kudos to you. So we have something in common. We have a couple of things in common. For one, we are both representing the amazing ladies of Delta Sigma Theta sorority.
Hey.
Out there. Also, you represent Chicago, Illinois.
That's my hometown. Even though I don't live there anymore, I'm still from Chicago. I'm in Atlanta now. So Atlanta's my new home, but my heart is still in Chicago.
That's right. So shout out to everybody out there listening in from Chicago, Atlanta, Mississippi, and Texas, and everywhere else in the country. So let us know where you're coming and representing from, because we're going to pull you into the conversation. Well, Dr. Wendy, I'm excited to pull you in with the other ladies. It's going to be a great conversation. Thank you for joining in, and we're going to have a good time.
Yes.
You're gonna talk to us about some financial healing, okay?
Yes.
All right, everybody. As I bring up each guest one by one, I need you all to let us know, where are you joining us from? Let us know, what do you want to hear today? What are some of your questions? So before we get going with this beautiful display, I want us just to pause and pose, because something about women, this is empowering by itself, okay? So I have some people that I want to shout out. Let's see, who do we have watching? Janice Farrell watching from Texas by way of Illinois. Everybody give Janice a shout out. That's my mom.
Hey.
We have Miss Sheena watching from Texas. She actually was a guest a few weeks ago. Always a pleasure seeing your name, Sheena. And I think Sheena's excited about a certain topic here, generational wealth. So maybe we'll talk about that a little later. We also, she said, watching from Texas. Yeehaw! And she said everybody looking great. So thank you. We also have Miss Shatandra Smith representing Chicago. And congratulations, Shatandra. I was actually in Chicago a couple of weeks ago for her wedding. So congratulations to Mrs. Shatandra Smith. Thank you for tuning in. We have Miss Char Michelle McDowell representing Bloomington, Illinois, where I lived for 12 years. So welcome, welcome, welcome everybody out there representing Bloomington, Illinois. And everybody else out there, thank you so much for tuning in. Again, if you want to be a part of the virtual conversation, go to the Speak That Movement page on Facebook or YouTube. So let's get right to it, ladies. Everybody feeling okay? Everybody feeling good?
Yeah.
Awesome. So I want to kick it off with the first hot topic of the day. And I think it's a very fitting topic. As I mentioned, we are all speakers, a part of Shay Brown's Comeback Champion Summit, which has been pretty cool. Have you all been enjoying the sessions?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Really good. So for the people out there that are wondering, okay, so cool name, Comeback Champion Summit. Shay actually mentioned last week what it meant, why he called it that. So if you want to hear that from Shay himself, check out last week's video. But I want to hear from you all in your own words. Tell everybody, what does being a comeback champion mean to you? So I'm going to let you all decide who's going to answer the question. I'm going to start with the youngest one because Dr. Wendy said she's 4, so we're going to let you.
Oh, yeah.
And then Dr. Wendy, you bounce it over to the next person, then that person bounces it over. So Dr. Wendy, kick us off. What does comeback champion mean to you?
Well, it's really special to me because, like I said, I'm a breast cancer conqueror. I was diagnosed in 2017, and I didn't think it was a death sentence, but I knew it was going to be a difficult journey. And since this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, I think it's very appropriate to talk about the fact that, you know, I went through chemotherapy every 3 weeks for a year at a price tag of $67,000 every, 3 weeks for a year. And I had 5 surgeries and all the CAT scans, MRIs, labs, everything that you can imagine to conquer the disease. And my body and my mind took a real beating. You know, I lost a lot of weight. I had the chemo brain, and I was working on my doctorate degree. So right when I was finishing up, I had to do an oral defense. And, I had to write stuff down because I couldn't remember what I was going to say, let alone what I just said. So it was a kind of a difficult time. But because of, like I said, having the proper protection and following and being obedient to God, I formed the company, The Financial Cures. And then I also developed the Financial Cures system because not only were my medical bills paid, I also got a big shot in the arm of, multiple 6-figure tax-free, infusion of money that really, helped me be able to, focus on my recovery versus worrying about money because, stress can kill you. And then you're already dealing with a deadly disease. So it really, now I'm on a crusade to empower other people to position themselves and not let a COVID or heart attack, stroke, cancer, any medical issue, cause them to be financially, ruined. So it's just been a good thing, and I've come back as a champion, not just for myself, but for others to help them, be in a better position.
Wow. First of all, I want to see some hearts, some pumps, because you are a champion, you are a conqueror, and glory be to God.
Yay.
Yes. And I commend you for your strength, and I commend you for now helping others even more, because you've always, I can tell you've been helping people, but now it sounds like your purpose is even more defined and stronger. So I commend you for that.
Thank you. It's a new, like I said, not challenge, but a new calling. And I'm on a crusade. I've got to be obedient. I can't. At first, I was like, okay, God, thank you. I'm good. I got, money, financially free, healthy. But then he said, no, that's not good enough. You're going to go out there on this crusade. So I'm just being obedient. And it's really, been a blessing. And I've published my first book, my new book, best-selling book, and it has a lot of the information that people need. It's an easy read, and it gives, for one thing, I really am pleased with it. I'm getting such positive feedback of people saying, I really learned something from your book. I'm going to make some changes in my finances because they weren't, sure where they should go from now, from where they are. So now they got some direction.
Congrats. Little echo there. Can you tell us again, what's the title of the book?
It's called Diagnose Your Financial Health, and it's the first book of the Financial Cure series.
Awesome. So make sure you all get that book. We'll talk about it a little later. All right, doctor, it's time for you to pass the champion baton to the next comeback champion.
Let's do Don.
Up, Don, you have to unmute.
See, and I said I wasn't going to do that. Here I am. Thank you.
No problem.
So Comeback Champion was really special to me when Shay mentioned it to me for the first time. And he kind of knew my story, my background. And so he said, this is really something for you. So at the age of 40, I kind of had this realization that my life wasn't what I wanted it to be. So I just kind of worked on it and tried to switch it out and tried to change some things, and it just wasn't happening. So at the age of 45, I just got to the point where it was like, enough is enough. Change has to come, because I was totally lost. I had lost myself. I had spent, my entire life catering to other people, and I had done what society said was the right thing to do, right? I was a mom, I was a wife, I had the job, I had the cars, I had the house, I had the money, I had everything. Everything that society says you should have. And I was absolutely miserable because I didn't have myself. So at the age of 45, I just did it. I flipped my life completely upside down. I left my 20-year marriage. I left my 20-year, $250,000 a year job, and I lost 250 pounds. So all of that, all at the same time, and left Illinois and moved to the Gulf Coast. And when I say flipped it, I flipped it. And so what? And it got to a point emotionally at that time, if you can imagine going through all of those changes, it affected me mentally and emotionally, just unimaginably. So I had to take about a year off, and because really I had a breakdown. I mean, it was just to the point of everything the way it was, and then changing everything, because anyone that knows me knows that I am by nature a creature of habit. Like if I change my furniture in my living room, it gives me anxiety. So for me to do all of that, you can imagine where I was mentally and emotionally. So it took me about a year to come back from that. And the reason I do what I do and speak on change and coach people on change is that, I didn't have the support I needed. My journey would have been much easier, much less anguish for me had I had someone, coaching me along the way. I handled it all myself, but that wasn't necessarily the best way. It probably would have saved me so much upset and anguish overall. But, I was at the point at that time when the breakdown happened. I couldn't even handle working. I couldn't do much of anything. I wasn't physically or mentally able to do that. So I have worked through that, obviously, and come back and totally recreated my life. I'm an entrepreneur now. I prioritize myself instead of prioritizing everyone else. I put myself first, only second to God. And I don't put anyone else above myself, other than God, because we're important. And so I'm an entrepreneur now. I'm speaking. I'm writing books. I'm doing my first doing my first anthology project right now. So and the title of it's Finally Free. You guys will get the theme of that. I've got finally free everything. And because I am finally free. So that's what a comeback champion means to me. It's like you're going to go through some really rough times with change. But oh my gosh, it's so beautiful on the other side.
Wow. Congratulations. Like, just the first question, you guys are like empowering everybody out here. I'm seeing the hearts and the pumps and everything. Wow. Congratulations on everything that you just described. And I'm just excited. I'm happy. I'm just happy. And rainbow of blessings. So thank you all. And thank you all out there for tuning in. All right. Well, Don, there's one person left. So I'll just let you pass the comeback champion baton over to her.
I'm passing over, Doctor. It's all you.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your stories. You've already blessed me, ladies, and I know everybody listening is being blessed right now. One of the things that comes to mind when we talk about a comeback champion is how it is that we're able to be resilient and to come back better, stronger than we were before. And as I listened to the other stories, in 2005, I literally was on top of the world. I mean, everything was great. I was living the American dream, felt like it was the perfect marriage, the perfect children, the perfect ministry. I've been a multi-entrepreneur for years. And one day, it just all crashed. And I found myself in a place where I went from literally losing my marriage, my ministry, all my possessions. I did not lose my mind. And we'll talk about that later because there's a reason why I did not lose my mind. But with the collapse of everything happening around our world in a very, very public international scandal, concerning my ex-husband. And I tell people all the time, I got to bring a little humor in. I say, even Olivia Pope would have been like, I ain't touching that one. It was like pretty intense. But I found myself faced with going from being a prominent woman, very successful, to being a prison wife, now faced to being a single mom, no child support, no alimony, and left with a hurting congregation, impacting people through the media for years. And I had to make a choice to either lie down and stay in the situation or to rise above it. And so I made the decision that I would literally become, as the Bible tells us, that living examples, if just for somebody to see hope, just to see hope. Sometimes when we go through, we have to see hope. And because it was publicly played out and it was on a very national, international scale, I thought, wow, wouldn't it be great if people really see somebody coming through a hard time, a hard situation? And I felt like that was really my reassignment from God, to be able to step up and to be a living example and not to have ended up on Snap. I thank God every day for that. Okay. But the thing is that, I really want people to understand that they can make it through anything. It takes a lot of work, and a lot of times you don't really find out how mentally tough you are. And Don, thanks for being so open, until you actually have your back up against the wall. And for me, I'm the author of 12 books, and I actually had to go back through many of my own materials, along with seeking counsel, along with, continuing to try to create a new normal for my family while going through this public ordeal, in order to really even be in a space where I could even function moment by moment, sometimes day to day. And so I think it's vitally important that people do take the time to do what's necessary for their mental health, for their mental care, no matter what the situation is. I just happen to be the one that went through it all at one time. It may be somebody listening that may just be going through a divorce right now, or the loss of a loved one. All of those things affect us greatly, but we have to know that we have the ability with God to be able to come back better and stronger, to bounce back, to really be more than a conqueror, and to walk in power and dominion, so that we can stand up and take our rightful place and be that hope to somebody along the way. I think I heard Doc say that she's on a crusade. I love that. Oh my God, on a crusade to help others to know that, because the Bible says, as a man thinketh, so is he. So if we're not thinking right, then we're not going to be able to go out and conquer and help and lift others along the way.
Powerful, powerful, and powerful. And that was just hot topic number one. So I bet some people are like, am I at church today? Am I watching an episode of Scandal today? Am I watching Oprah today? Listen, you can watch whatever you want, but you are watching Speak That Talks with these amazing speakers. So, oh my God, we have comments coming in. Welcome, Malcolm B. Jacqueline. God and therapy are a perfect combination. Walk in power, conquer and educate. Wow. So listen, if you all just tuned in, I am joined by 3 amazing, beautiful women. We have Dr. Renee Fowler, we have Don Lieck, and we have Dr. Wendy Labat. I feel like I want to say your last name wrong every time. So,
That's right.
yes. So again, it's not too late. Tune in. I feel like something about today's episode, it's about to change some lives, because we already opened up with full transparency, with just an act of empowering people, transforming lives, and encouraging people to finish the year strong and live their best life. So I hope you all are receiving that already. As Sheena says, she's taking notes. Powerful indeed. All right, so let's dig a little deeper. And I'll self-mute from time to time, just so that we can have just clear sound with everything that's about to be said over the next few minutes. So I want to kick it off with some of the things that you guys are going to be talking about during the Comeback Champion Summit, which actually wraps up tomorrow. So we're going to start with Don. Don, your topic that you're talking about during the summit is change. So if you can briefly, because I want to hear from the other women as well, talk to us a little bit about what is your summit topic and why did you pick change? I know you mentioned a little bit, but what are some of the things that you talked about? And then after we hear from you, I'm going to ask the other ladies if they have anything that they want to say as well.
Okay. Definitely. The reason that, I chose change is because that's what my life's been all about. And so my title was Change at Any Age. And I think that a lot of us think that major life changes are made, in our 20s, maybe in our 30s. But when we get to our 40s, 50s, usually we're kind of thinking everything's all set, right? This is kind of the way it's got to be. And, how can I upset the apple cart now? What will everyone think? What will my friends think? What will my family think? What will the people at church think? We're worried about being judged because we're about to change the norm. And so that was some of the things that I spoke about during the conference, and just figuring out when people want to make a change, normally they set their goal. And an example is myself. When I knew that I was miserable, I thought, of course, it was because, and it was part of the reason, I weighed 400 pounds. And I looked in the mirror and I didn't even recognize myself. I physically or mentally, I didn't recognize who I had become. And so my unhappiness had kind of manifested itself into eating and weight gain and all that, because that wasn't me. I'm like, where did I go? Where's Dawn? Where did I go? And so I focused in on losing that weight, because I knew that if I was a size 7, I'd be happy again, right? I'd be walking around my cute little outfits. I'd be looking good, feeling good. So of course, that's what I needed to do for my health. It was the right thing to do. But when I got to my goal weight, when I got to that size 7, even actually a size 5 at that time, I couldn't figure out why I was still miserable. I had reached the goal. That's what I had been shooting for. Right? That was going to fix everything. That size 7 was going to fix everything. Well, what I had done was I hadn't focused in on the root cause. And so many people set their goal on what they think is going to make them happy versus figuring out what's making them unhappy. There's a big difference.
Nice.
And so that's one of the things, and then after that, after I was lost, see, I could have shortened up my journey. Had I gotten to the root cause from the beginning, right, I could have shortened up all of the work that I had to put in if I would have just gotten to the root cause and been honest with myself to understand what I was unhappy with. And it was, things collectively. So that is one of the major things that I spoke about, and also about, when you're going to make a change, I obviously didn't turn my life upside down without a plan, right? And so sometimes we're unhappy with our job and we quit our job, and there's no plan, and that puts us into such a tailspin. So a written plan is really key. Not just a plan in your head where you're thinking that this is what you want to do, because if you only have the plan in your head, when it becomes uncomfortable and hard, you change the plan. If it's written, then it's there. You know exactly what you wanted to do from the start. So the written plan is huge, and just working through that. And the biggest piece of it to change is putting yourself first and deciding what you are unhappy with and what you need to do to make yourself happy. And I'm sure that there are people on the show right now that are watching saying, I could not make those major changes and do these things that I want to do because my life would just fall apart. I'm here to tell you, when you have some major changes, along with the other two ladies, the other two doctors here, yes, it's true. Your life is going to fall apart. But what you do is, as it falls apart and it falls to the ground all around you, you only pick back up what serves you and you walk away. Just pick back up what serves you and then you walk away. That's the basis of what I talk about, girl. And yeah, it's a journey. It's going to be a journey because, like I said before, we ignore what we fear, and change. If you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. So without change, there's no growth. There's no growth.
Nice. Fall apart to fall together. I love that. Shatandra likes it too. I've never heard it that stated like that before. Like when the pieces all fall apart, only pick up what you, that's good. That's good, Don. All right, ladies. I just want to ask, do any of you, anything you want to add to that change piece? And then we're gonna talk about your topics too, but anything jumping out at you when you heard her talk about change?
Well, I'd like to just piggyback on what she said, and and it applies to everything, no matter what you want to do. You have to change your mindset, your thinking, and that's the key to everything. If you're not thinking right, you're not going to change right. So you got to change that mindset. And like I said, I like what you said about picking up only the pieces that are going to serve you well. That's awesome. I have to use that in some of my presentations.
Yes, you better find that, Don, because
And what she said was so powerful about getting to the root cause. So many people are really in denial. I know at one point in my life, I was in denial about what the real issue is. But until you are willing to confront the realities of your life, real change cannot come. But the sooner you confront it, the quicker you can get on to the greater that awaits. And so that core issue is something that we must spend time evaluating and assessing and not overlooking. That's the only way we begin to change our belief systems and our perceptions. And thank you, Don, for sharing that from a personal standpoint, because the truth is we've all been there. We've all done that. And we've all been in a state of denial with something that if we would just quickly decide to address, that we could bring about the change and not live in the misery that so many of us have often chosen, because it's still a choice that you stay there and live in that. So we can start making change starting today, but you've got to decide on a matter before you can begin to make that change. And that comes through awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Well, great hot topic, change. So we're going to roll right along. I think that was really, really good. So the next hot topic that we're going to talk about, which is actually Dr. Renee's summit that she's speaking on during your topic that you're speaking about during the summit. So let's talk a little bit about mindset. So tell us a little bit more about mindset and why you chose this. And before you do that, we have a lot of comments coming in. I have people on my personal page. You all have people on your page. Come on over to the Speak That Movement page. So go to Speak That Movement in the search field and come on over to this conversation so that we can pull you in. So Dr. Renee, talk to us about your topic of mindset and why you chose that.
Well, what I chose to present and to deal with is actually entitled, It's a Mental Game That Counts After a Setback. And I think Don just gave us a great example of exactly what I spend time addressing, that you have to conscientiously decide that you're going to re-engage with your own life. And you have to start with you developing your mindset. We go through life and we're taught, set goals, reach for success, push yourself. As a young corporate woman, I can remember just, setting the bar higher, not every year, but probably every 6 months. And so I was just groomed to be a success and to follow that path. What we're not taught is how to recover after life hits us. And if you live long enough, you're going to have a setback. You're going to have obstacles. You're going to have problems. You're going to have troubles. And the way to overcome that is by making certain that your mind is attuned or tweaked, or your game plan is tweaked so that you can get back in the game. I raised 3 athletes as a single mama. And so I went through a lot of rehab with them. And something stood out when they went through rehab. They were always given these instructions that they were to follow, even if they did not feel as though they were necessary. And a lot of times when it comes to our minds, we don't think that there are issues that are there. We don't think that we have limiting beliefs. We don't think that we have wrong thinking. Who told you that? And we have to give ourselves permission to be able to let go of that limiting belief that thing that gets us off course. And we have to be willing to go through a process to be able to really heal so that we can get our thoughts right. You know, I can't wait to hear from Doc on finances, but I came from a family that we were not taught financial literacy. And so when God started blessing my life and my family's life, and, you know, we started progressing and learning about, you know, these new principles, my own mother asked me, where did you learn this? And I said, I just made a choice that I wanted to think differently. I wanted more for my family. And so I read and I studied and I talked with people and I asked questions, and that brought about a change in my life. So when it comes to your mind, you know, I love Dr. Carolyn Leaf and I follow everything that she does. And without getting into the neuroscience of it, but literally, I want to just say it this way to keep it simple. The Bible says, as a man thinketh, so is he. So as you think, you are. And so I wanted to approach this topic because we need to think about what we think. Think about that for a moment. When's the last time you really stopped and thought about what you were thinking? And so if you go through a tough situation or you go through a setback like I did, people, I was a international speaker. I was a business owner. All of that was pulled from me. And I began to think so negatively about myself because I felt like my value was gone based on the choice of someone else. And I kind of came to myself and I said, you know what? No, that was his choice. That's not who I am. But people put me in that category. And so I had to start thinking differently. So I started first with me and said, you won't lose your mind. I'd already lost my money, my marriage, my ministry, and everything else. But I was like, I'm not going to lose my mind. So I tapped into the resources that were necessary for me to be able to make certain. And I'm just going to be honest. There were days when I was like, God, just give me what I need for today. Mm-hmm. I can't worry about tomorrow. I need to get through this moment. And so I had been depressed years before as a young professional woman. And so I had been to the counselors. And so I knew some of the coping strategies and some of the things that they taught you to do when you went through. So when this tsunami hit my life in 2005, I went back to a lot of those things I had already integrated into my mind. And I realized that I had a mental toughness because people would actually walk up to me and say, oh my God, I wouldn't be able to handle that. Oh, I would have lost my mind. Well, I chose not to lose my mind. Not that I didn't want to. I felt it. There were a lot of days where I could barely get out of the bed because when things hit you, it hits you emotionally, mentally, physically. But I chose to. I looked at my 3 children and they became my driving motivation every single day. And I ended up what I call raising greatness because I chose not to give up and collapse into life when everything was writing me off and people were saying that I was down. And so I chose that topic because of that. But I had another reawakening recently because I felt like even though I was functioning, and this is for somebody, because you can still function and be a high performer and still not be where you need to be because you're giving of yourself to everyone else and you're not giving attention to you. And I was talking to my counselor about it a few months ago, and he actually said something to me. He said, when are you going to get to this place to where you recognize that you are today who you were before? And so I want somebody to think about that. Who were you before the divorce? Who were you before the scandal? Who were you before the loss, before you were fired? Who were you before? That same person today has the strength to be able to build up on the life. And as Don said, to pick up the pieces now that you need for your life and move on and move forward. So that's why it's the mental toughness that counts. And we have to do that mindset work that many of us don't like to do, but it's absolutely critical for your next.
Nice. You all are dropping the jewels. dropping those pieces, and we're picking them all up, Don. We not leaving any. We're picking up every jewel that's being dropped today. Sounds like you need to trademark something too, Doctor.
Well, I got a few things I'm working on.
Think about what you think.
Yes.
Think about what you think. So that was loud and clear. Wow.
Yeah, it's really important. You know, we just kind of go through life just like, you know, kind of haphazardly, but especially during the times that we're in now, we really need to give thought to what it is that we're processing, how we're processing, and how we go about it, because this really can end up being one of the greatest times of our life, even in the midst of what seems to be the worst of times.
That's good. Wow. So we've talked about change. We've talked about mindset. And I do want to hear your thoughts, Don, as well as yours, Dr. Wendy. But I want to move on, Dr. Wendy, to your topic. And perhaps during your topic, you can share any thoughts that you have about what you heard about change and mindset as it relates, to financial health. So tell us a little bit, Dr. Wendy, about your topic for the Comeback Champion Summit and why you chose it.
Well, my topic is the 6 obstacles to winning the money game, because everybody wants to win the money game, and you can win it regardless of the economic climate. And mindset is the first. Mindset and lack of knowledge is the first and probably one of the most important obstacles that you have to overcome. You have to be transformed, like the Bible says, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. If you want to be a rich person, you can't have a pauper's way of thinking. Now, Robert Kiyosaki, I like to start my talks out with his quote, which he says it so eloquently. It's not how much money you make, but how much you keep, how hard it works for you, and how many generations you keep it for. Because, you know, we get so caught up on making $1, but a lot of my clients, you know, it seems like the ones that make the most money are the ones that have the hardest time managing it. You know, they spend more than they make. They think, okay, I'm making this money so I can buy what I want. I can do what I want. They don't have any strategy. And when I say lack of knowledge, I don't mean you have to have a PhD or a doctorate degree to understand, but you have to know some basic principles. And like I said, don't underestimate the principles, because that's what's going to get you through to the next level. Taking control over your finances. You know, a lot of people, you have to strategically plan where your money goes instead of wondering where it went. Most people, you know, they, especially the folks, like I said, the high income earners, not everybody, but they, you know, make all this money and they say, well, where's my money? I don't have this to show for it. You know, they have a few material things, but no real wealth or no real, their money's not working for them. And then the next generation is not getting a dime of it. So that's something that, you know, again, it's your mindset. And then the other is proper protection. And I just know from my own personal situation, had I not had the proper protection, who could pay $67,000 every 3 weeks for some chemo while you're, you know, battling the disease, running a business, and have your own personal expenses? You know, that'll weigh on you. And then my medical bills from the surgeries, the 5 surgeries and all the tests and everything was over $300,000 in addition to the $67,000 every 3 weeks. But I didn't have the proper protection because I looked at it from a, you know, a personal financial planning perspective. I had it because I was in that business and I didn't want to be a hypocrite. So I bought all the products and services that I was trying to sell my clients, because I did have people say, well, where's your money? What do you have? And I can honestly say, this is what I have. This is where my money is. And this is where I'm recommending that you put it, not because I have it, but that's the best, you know, for your scenario. So like I said, thank God I did practice what I preach, because all my medical bills were paid. Plus I got the multi 6-figure tax-free shot in the arm, which was right on time. And I thank the Lord every day, because it allowed me, like I said, to focus on my recovery instead of worrying about money. Now, taxes and tax codes and tax laws, I should say, is another obstacle. We just recently had changes in the tax laws, and if you're making less than 500,000, you're taking a beating when it comes to taxes. And I tell my clients, a lot of people don't understand that the 401ks, the IRAs, 403bs, those are tax codes. Those are things where people say, okay, I got a 401k, they think that money's going to last them forever, once they retire. But most people run out of money within 13 years, of retirement, because they're using those tax codes to try to build their retirement funds. So you have to understand that part. That's an obstacle for most people, and because we've been programmed that way. Now, the fifth obstacle are your investment losses, your market risk, and the global economic impact. And as we can see, the stock market, folks, I had clients, I tried to get them out of that 401k IRA mode and say, look, come over here to the IUL. You got your protection for market losses and no risk from the market losses. And some people did. And when the market started crashing, they're like, Wendy, I'm so glad I listened to you, because they didn't lose any money. And then there's others that said, dang, Wendy, I should have listened to you. But, I did my part by telling them. But you have to understand how that impacts you. And as we all know, we're tied globally for everything, whether it's economy, with the pandemic, what happens across the other side of the world impacts us. And then one of the main obstacles beside the mindset and lack of knowledge is taking action. You can have all the best laid plans in the world, but if you don't take action, what good is it? Like faith without works is dead. So I like to help people understand that if you know how to overcome those obstacles, it doesn't matter what the stock market is doing. It doesn't matter about the pandemic. It doesn't matter about a lot of things, because you've already shielded yourself from those obstacles. So that's why I chose my topic.
Well, a good topic indeed. Well, ladies, this hour is already up, but we're going to keep going because we have the power to keep on rolling. So let me ask. So we talked about change, we talked about mindset, we talked about financial health. So before we go into another hot topic, any response? Do you all have any reaction to anything, any of the topics that the other ladies have? Anything that you heard that just really jumps out to you?
Well, I just want to say kudos to you ladies, because, like I said, we go through some things, but to come out on the other side, you always come out better. But, you're shining examples of coming out on the other side better. Like I said, nothing can stop a powerful woman, even if she may not look powerful at the time. When she comes on the other side, it's like, hey.
Well, and Doc, you as well, because let me tell you something. I was a caregiver for my sister while I was going through my own calamity, and I didn't even remember that I helped walk her through a mastectomy. And I took her to chemo every day. And I was just in a mental space where I really was just trying to create that new normal and move everybody forward. But I applaud you because, being a caregiver, it's a special place in my heart. And you're just a comeback champion in my eyes. And I just want you to know that. And thank you for not stopping and giving up and keeping people in their financial health. I mean, that's powerful. We don't talk enough about that, because the tools that you talked about, I haven't really talked about this a lot, but I feel a openness to do so now. We had all the right tools in the right place. We had everything, but my ex, because of his narcissism, he cashed everything in that would have allowed us to retire at 45. And so I'm 58 now, and I'm rebuilding from that scandal, and it's a challenge. And so the sooner you start addressing all of what we're talking about, any change that needs to happen in your life in all areas, the better you will be. Because the truth is, when you get older, it gets more expensive to reinstitute and regain those wonderful instruments that you can take advantage of, at an early age, or when you leave your corporate job that you don't
Or
have
if you get sick,
or if you get sick.
there's certain things you can't get, you
Absolutely.
can't get certain protections and
Mhm.
certain, coverage that really could set you up, so it does
Yeah.
make a difference.
Huge difference. So thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Mhm. Blind, I can't hear.
Thank you all so much. You all are definitely definitions of comeback champions, and everybody out there that's listening. I know for a fact, everybody listening, at some point in your life, you had to overcome something. You had a setback, and the power of a setback is that you have the opportunity to change. Look at your mindset. Look at your financial health, your mental health, your spiritual health, whatever, and you can't come back. So kudos to all of you. So now we're at the end of the show, but we have some more time because it is time for my favorite part. And everybody knows this is my favorite part because I get so excited. So it is time for the Speak That Speed round. So I want to see y'all pump it up for the Speak That Speed round, okay? Yes. So for those of you that don't know, the Speak That Speak round is the opportunity where every speaker, every guest on Speak That Talks gets to share their thoughts on the 4 pillars of Speak That movement. But before we go there, I have to say this. We have a beautiful comment here. You all are resilience personified and comeback champions.
Yeah.
Thank you, my
Thank
sister.
you.
Thank you.
You are too. So the Speak That Speed round. So the 4 pillars of Speak That movement. So the Speak That movement, 4 pillars are dream it, believe it, speak it, and walk it. Dream it, believe it, speak it, and walk it. So for today's edition of Speak That Talks, I want us to add a little twist to it. I'm always changing something up a little. But I want you all to give your thoughts on each one in as few words as possible. But I want you to give them where you're speaking to the people out there, to the person that's going through something right now in 2020, to the person who is just trying to figure out what happened in 2020. What am I supposed to do with the global pandemic? What am I supposed to do with the social injustices taking place all over the world? President issues and concerns, the election coming up, the amount of people who have lost jobs this year. There have been so many negative things. However, there have been so many blessings this year. So many blessings. So many people that wrote that first book. So many people that started that new business. So many families that have gotten closer because they are forced to be together. People that have gotten married. People that got divorced and left that man or that woman and moved on to something better, right? I'm just saying, whatever your blessing was in 2020, own that blessing. So, ladies, I want you to bless the Speak That Talks platform by going one by one. And I don't have a particular order, but we'll get an order started. So how about if we go from Don, Dr. Renee, Dr. Wendy. And one by one, I want you to share what dreaming means to you. And then I'll flip the order for the next ones. But we're going to start with dreaming. So Don, let's start with you. Empower, inspire, encourage everyone by sharing what dreaming means to you.
So what dream it means to me is allow yourself to dream again. There's nothing stopping you but you. If you can think it, you can do it.
Nice.
So what dream it means to me is that you can create, starting now, at this moment, creating a vision for your ideal life. Ephesians 3:20 says, far above that which we can dream, think, envision, or even imagine, be it unto us according to our faith. And so you replace your fear with the faith. And when you do that, it pushes you into a dream state. And God promises, I'll give you far above that which you can dream.
And I think dreaming, you're never too old to dream. You know, if you stop dreaming, then you start regretting. So I'm a senior citizen and I've always done well, but I thought, okay, I'm cool with where I am. But now I've got a whole different dream that's coming to reality. And it's something I didn't think about, but you know, the spirit will put those dreams in, you know, in your mind, but you have to be willing to receive them. You got to be willing to accept the fact that they can become a reality. So it's never too late to dream.
There you have it, everybody. Dream it. And as Sheena said, dream, no regrets. All right. The second pillar of Speak That Movement is believe it. And we're going to start with you, Dr. Renee. So we're going to go Dr. Renee, Don, and Dr. Wendy. Believe it.
You know, belief is, again, a matter of choice. It's a matter of thought. And you believe what you believe. But who told you you had to believe that? So when it comes to our belief systems, again, it goes back to looking at our mindsets and seeing what it is that we really want. Dr. Miles Monroe always said, if you wanted to know about the creation of a thing, you needed to go back to the creator of a thing. And so because we believe, it appears that we all believe that we're created in the image of God. God has something specific for you that he wants you to believe again about your life. Let me just say this. You're fearfully and wonderfully made in his image. So you got all the goods to do what you need to do. You just got to get your thinking right. It's time to hit delete on stinking thinking and start believing again that you can do it, that all things are possible, that you can have what it is that you believe you deserve, that you do have value, you do have worth, but you got to make certain that your mindset is right so that you can believe. So somebody, I'm challenging you, start believing in yourself again. God's put it in you.
Wow. I don't know how to follow that one, Dr. Renee. that was it right there. Believe it is just my favorite saying is, she believed she could, so she did. So it has to start with yourself. You have to believe in yourself. Positive affirmations, your mindset is everything. Tell yourself positive affirmations every single day. At first, you're going to say them and it's going to be very uncomfortable. You may even laugh about it, but as you continue to say it, it's like anything else, something that is continually said to you. And if you're saying it to yourself, you'll start to believe it. It's just like Dr. Renee mentioned, instilled beliefs. We take all of those because it's told to us time and time and time again. But they're normally not positive things. It works exactly the same way with positive affirmations. You can instill those beliefs into yourself. So just do it. Just do it. You're worth it. You are enough.
Well, my thing is with all, you have to believe that all things are possible with God. And when he gives you that vision or that dream that we spoke about, he's going to provide the provision to go with it. You don't have to see it. You have to believe it. So I can testify to that because I've done some things and I didn't see how I was going to do it. But he gave me that vision and the provisions fell right into place. So dream it, believe it, and it'll come to pass.
Yes. Wow. That was a powerful round of dream it and believe it. So now it's time for the Speak That Movement pillar number 3, which is speak it. So we're going to start with Dr. Renee. Let's start with you.
Feeling that one. Look, I live by this, that you speak those things that be not as though they are. And you have to practice mindfulness through those affirmations. Every day that you awaken, You've got to awaken with the thought that I can, I will, I must. I know that Mary Kay started that years ago, but let me tell you something. She was onto something. She was teaching us how to really speak forth that which we would like to envision. And so these are principles that we're giving you that you cannot afford to not take the time to do the work to integrate them into your life, because you've got to speak forth positive things in your life in order for the manifestation to come. So be conscientious of that which you say. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. And so think that thought before you speak it. See, you got to think what you think. Now you got to think before you speak, is how my mama always say, girl, you better think before you speak, because you can't take it back. Okay. And it's the same way, no matter where you are in life. Only speak life and challenge yourself, challenge your faulty, stinking belief systems, and really come up with more constructive thoughts and positive thoughts. And then that's what you begin to speak over your life, over your situation, over everything concerning you.
Amen.
Well, how about you go next, Dr. Wendy?
I totally agree with that. And you have to get in the habit of speaking, not just about your goals. You have to speak it, whether it's, breathing or walking or eating, whatever it is, you have to catch yourself and don't allow other people to speak negativity around you. Don't let that come into your spirit. You speak positive. If they're trying to say negative things, then you turn their negatives into positives. Say, look, I don't let that negativity come here. So just speak positive about whatever comes out of your mouth needs to be positive. Whether you're talking about the simplest little thing, it needs to be on the positive side.
Okay, and I would say speak it, and again, I agree as well. I mean, say it out loud. Say out loud what you desire. Don't just keep it to yourself and be afraid to even think about it. And I'm going to go a step further with that and surround yourself with the positive people that Dr. Wendy is talking about. Your circle is everything. And so surround yourself with like-minded, positive people, and then really say it out loud to them, because if they are your true circle, they will help you through whatever your desires are and hold you accountable for those desires and make sure that you get where you're trying to go.
Woo, y'all preaching to me today. All right, ladies, dream it, believe it, speak it. And last but certainly not least, the fourth pillar of Speak That movement is walk it. So I don't even know where to begin. I'm going to let you all kick this off and you all fight over who's going to talk to us and close out with walk it.
She's muted.
Believe it. Am I muted?
You're good now.
Okay. It's just like, just finishes off the whole steps. You're dreaming it, you're believing it, you're speaking it. Now you walk it. Walk it out, like they say, walk it out. Whatever you think you're going to do, you go ahead and walk that thing. I don't care if you broke, you walk like you're rich, and as long as you keep walking, everything's going to fall into place. That's the final step. So you walk it out. So that's all I got to say. I can't say it like I want to because I can't think how I want to say it, but just walk it the way you want to be. That's the way you walk and act.
I love it. And everybody, after today's show, you go on YouTube and you play that song, Walk It Out. Okay? That's going to be your weekend anthem. Because of Dr. Wendy, we're going to walk it out. Okay, we're going to put it song and walk it out. All right, who's next with Walk It?
I got this one. You've got to walk in faith. You have got to walk in faith. You have to step out on faith. Like Dr. Wendy said, you can't always see it. You got to have that faith. and you have to have accountability for your walk. And I say that because it's human nature to go into the backslide, right? As soon as it gets difficult, it gets hard, it gets uncomfortable, we want to step back, go into the backslide and go back to our comfort zone. So you've got to have the accountability and you've got to have the faith. And when you are feeling the backslide, you just got to pray on it, stay strong, get your mindset, do your positive affirmations, and walk it out.
Wow. And I want to share with you all a quote that I keep on my desk from Oprah herself. And what she says is, we create the highest, grandest vision possible for your life because you become what you believe. And that is everything we've been talking about tonight. So when you add the walk it out to that, we got to talk it, we got to believe it, we got to vision it, and we certainly have to put it into action. So you walking it out is you actually executing the vision that God has given you, that you're believing in, and that you're trusting that He's going to allow you to manifest whatever your best life is that you are believing for. And that is the action that's required. And you won't get anything out of it. You won't get the results out of it if you don't take the step. Walking represents movement. So guess what? When you get off tonight, you got some work to do. You got a plan, Don said, that you got to put into place. We got to write the vision. We got to make it plain. We got to detox from some people. We got to work on our mindset and start thinking differently. And we sure enough need to get our money straight. So we got to show that action. And that's what walking represents. So whatever you need to walk out, you need to figure it out and walk it out by faith.
Wow. All right. Give yourselves a round of applause. And thank you for that amazing summary, Dr. Renee. You summed it up well. And people might be mad at me for saying this, so you all keep this a secret between this Speak That Talk show. This might have been one of the most amazing rounds of Speak That Talks, of the Speak That Speak. I just have to say. We got the comments on fire. We got the comments, the hand claps. All right, that's all I have to say.
All right.
Music.
All right, great. I don't know if it's ladies' night. I don't know if it's because we represent this Illinois and this Texas and Mississippi, Atlanta. I don't know, but y'all were amazing. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's platform. Well, listen, guys, we have definitely went over an hour, but I don't know about you all, but it was worth it.
It was. Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much. This
Thank
has been
you.
phenomenal. Yes, it has. But guess what? We're about to wrap it up. But before we wrap it up, I want to give everybody the opportunity to close us out. Just let us know. I think you all dropped enough nuggets. You dropped enough jewels. And I think I want you all back in 2021. So if you're open to that, just let me know. We gave everybody the pieces. Talked about the change, the mindset, the financial health. So maybe we need to come back in 2021 to see how did that work for people. Yep.
Absolutely.
I agree. Yeah.
All right. So let's close it out. So we're going to go one by one. I want you all to let people know how to find you, how to reach you. But before we do that, this is a final hashtag, a final hot topic. And I need you all to say this in as few words as possible because I know we're over time. But I have to bring this up. So today, someone very, very dear to me sent me a text and it brought tears to my eyes, okay? And I posted this on Facebook and I said I wanted to bring it up today. The person at one point wasn't a believer. They went through so many things throughout their life, and I'm fully aware of most of them, that what they shared with me over the years. And they got to this place in life where they stopped believing in God. They questioned things because life was just so tough throughout life for this person. So today this person just randomly sent me a text. And I don't have the exact words, but basically what she said was something along the lines of, because of, what I was doing and just the life, whatever, somebody's learning how to trust God because of the example. And then she said more within the text, but that was the actual graphic that she sent me. So I want to ask you ladies, in as few words as possible, why do you do what you do every day? Why do you wake up? Why do you want to be an example to other people? So again, in as few words as possible, we'll go with Don, Dr. Renee, and Dr. Wendy, because that touched me, because it proved to me that when we're really trying to live a life of purpose, when we're being obedient and trusting God every step of the way, even when we mess up, slip up, and all that, right? We're not perfect, but we never know who's watching and who's getting something from our words, our life, our destruction, our pains, our everything. So what are your thoughts on that? Why do you do what you do?
For me, it's just, it is my calling. This is my calling. And I spent, 20 years in the corporate world as well, but this is my calling. And to watch the transformation, I feel like I am called to transform people into living the life that they want to live. So me, it's the faith. I'm walking in my purpose. I have no choice. Even if I didn't want to, I wouldn't have a choice because, he's about to hit me in the head with a brick, for me to say, I can't, I don't have time, I don't know, whatever, he did not let up. And so I had no choice but to be obedient. But when I see the difference that my word makes in people's lives, I mean, there's nothing better.
That's good. And Don, thank you for blessing the Speak That Talks platform. Let everybody know, where can they find you? How can they follow you if they would like to learn more and just talk to you and to see what you're talking about, right?
All right. I am on Facebook under Dawn Lieck, as well as Facebook Dawn Lieck Finally Free LLC. I also have a Facebook group that we work through change and tons of other things, and it's called Finally Free to Be Me. So you can find me.
Yes.
Love to hear from people. Love it.
Well, thank you, Don, for blessing the platform.
Thank you.
All right. So we're going to go with Dr. Renee. Tell us your why. Why are you an example to others?
Every single day that I awaken, I believe that I'm called to make a difference. And it doesn't matter what I've experienced in life. If we really believe that we're called to be difference makers and to be the light in the world, then people are always watching, and you never know. So if we learn to live our life this way, I like to say it this way, as a walking billboard for others to see, my thing is, what is on your billboard? Okay. And I want my billboard to be reflected in the right light always, especially as a believer. And I think it's so vitally important, even in my challenges and my struggles. We were given warning. Jesus said, in this life, you'll have troubles, but cheer up. And I didn't understand that for a long time until I really understood that he had already made provision for us to overcome. And so when we live our life as the light, life as the light, life as the light, I want to make sure you get that. Life as the light each and every day. It really is a sermon, a message, a story in itself, especially when people know your story, how you've overcome. And so that's my why. I will continue to allow my light to shine. We used to sing that song as, little kids, let your light shine, and I'm going to let my light shine. And I encourage others to shine, because guess what? You can make it. Don't give up. Don't lose hope. God is still in control. He still has you on his mind, and he still has great plans for you.
Beautiful. And Dr. Renee, how can people find you and stay connected with you?
Well, they can go to reneedenise.life, which is my website, but they can also find me on all social media at Renee Denise Fowler. And also all my books are available on Amazon. Now, let me give you a little twist to that. When you look me up on Amazon, I'll be Renee Fowler Hornbuckle. See, I'm making some changes. I'm taking some actions. And so you'll be able to find me. But let me just say this. When you go to my website in the next few weeks, we will have available some upcoming webinars. And I'm most excited about a new program we're about to launch called Good Day Champion, where we are helping you to reawaken the champion that's in you. So look forward to the information. Follow me on all the social media platforms, including LinkedIn, and I think on Pinterest even, but we're out there. You can find us, and it's been a joy today. Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me.
Well, thank you so much as well. It's been a pleasure. So Dr. Wendy, tell us your why. Why are you an example?
Well, my why, because it's part of my journey. You know, like I said, I'm on a crusade. I'm being obedient to my calling. And I've gotten to a point in my life that I have so much wisdom. And it's not just knowledge. I got wisdom because I've been through everything I'm trying to tell my folks. And, you know, it's for me to share. I'm transparent. And especially when you're talking finance, people are so guarded about the subject. But when you make them feel comfortable, and like I tell people, hey, whatever you've done or wherever you are, I have been there. So, you know, it's like the iceberg. They see you at the top, but they don't see all that stuff and the struggle at the bottom. But I have been there, and I'm not ashamed to talk about it. And people feel comfortable with me because I'm not trying to judge folks. Because, I mean, who am I to judge? Because I have been through some things. But basically, it's just my journey, and that's part of my crusade, part of my calling. And I want to thank you, ladies. Tiara, I want to thank you for having us, but the other ladies, I am looking forward to following you guys because you all are awesome, and I am proud to be, you know, sharing the stage with you. But I do want to tell people you can contact me on, you know, Facebook, Wendy Labat or Dr. Wendy Labat or the Financial Cures. But I want to give everybody a gift. If you're interested in getting my free gift, it's a guide talking about the 6 obstacles to winning the money game. But you text the word guide, GUIDE, to 770-796-4944. And I think it's at the bottom of the screen there. And you'll get a complimentary guide to the 6 obstacles to winning the money game. So I think you'll find it, you know, helpful. It'll be a little more detailed than what I went into tonight, but you know, it'll give you a good foundation to get your finances in order. So I want to offer that to you. And then I've got my book. You find it on Amazon. It's bestseller, #1 new release called Diagnose Your Financial Health. And it has a lot of good tips on how to just, you know, increase your income without getting a second job, how to reduce your expenses without spending money. It also talks about the 6 obstacles to winning the money game. Just a lot of good information. It's a quick read, not complicated. It does have a little technical or industry language, a little academic, but it's just plain Jane, not, you know, wording. So it's not all complicated, but I hope you'll take advantage of it. A lot of folks have really said they've got something out of it, and that's what makes me feel good about it. So thank you for having me. Thank you, ladies, for being part of this as well.
Awesome. Wow, ladies. Thank you so much to each and every one of you. Thank you. May God bless you. May God protect you. May He elevate you. And may He open up so many doors, because you really did just bless Speak That Talks and all of the listeners today. So everybody, show some love in the comments, hearts, whatever you want to share. And ladies, I will be in touch with all of you. Let us stay connected, because we are comeback champions. And all right, ladies, love you all so much. And everybody, we'll be in touch. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Wow. You know what? Today was powerful. I won't even have a long closing because so many nuggets were dropped. All I want to say is thank you all for listening. Thank you for tuning in for the 24th week. I ask that you come back next week, same place, same time, October 22nd, 8 p.m. Central Time. I have 2 more speakers from the ComebackChampion Summit. So 2 more speakers next week for the Comeback Champion Summit series. And then we're going to have more Thursdays after that. But we're going to wrap up the Comeback Champion Summit. To learn more about the Comeback Champion Summit, go to ComebackChampionSummit.com. It is a phenomenal event that ends tomorrow with over 100 experts and speakers from all over the world, helping and encouraging people to live their best life and finish the year strong and to come back from any setback that you may experience in life. To learn more about me, go to my website, www.tiaraprnetwork.com. You can learn about Tiara PR Network. You can learn about Speak That Movement, and you can learn about Speak That Talks. And if you are interested in being a speaker on Speak That Talks, or if you just want help with speaking, maybe you want to speak, but you don't really know what you want to say or how to do it, reach out, www.tiaraprnetwork.com. Shout out to the Speak That Movers, the people are part of my private group that have declared they will dream it, believe it, speak it, and walk it. And we will live our best lives. All right, that's all I have for you all. Thank you so much for supporting Tiara PR Network, Speak That Movement, and Speak That Talks. May God bless you and may God protect you. Thank you so much. See you next week.